Hi guys, so Gavin Robinson DUP MP was interviewed by the BBC about how the cost of living crisis is about to get worse for the people of Northern Ireland, while his party refused to get the executive up and running. As you probably know, the DUP have refused to allow power sharing to begin following the elections earlier this month, because they want the Northern Ireland Protocol fixed or removed by Boris Johnson's government. Gavin here tried to ignore the cost of living crisis and turn the discussion to medicines, which has already been resolved.
Don't ignore issuing the protocol, for example, on the availability of medicines.
Well, that's been resolved. With the greatest respect, that's been resolved. It's not just about health.
Sorry, Mark.
Gavin Robinson, it's not just about health. It's about the cost of living crisis. It's about the £330 million that the executive has sitting on the table, but because of the DUP's actions, can't be spent. You know that.
I'm going to have to go back, Mark, to that because it hasn't been resolved. There was a suggestion in October that it would be resolved, but there has been no resolution on medicines. And our Department of Health, our Minister, Robin Swan, has been very clear that what was outlined with the European Commission wouldn't cut it because it talks about what has been approved previously, but no agreement on what is yet to come. So don't try to cover over or suggest that a solution has been resolved when it hasn't. It still requires resolution. So let's be honest with the public when we're talking about the protocol and the impediments that it delivers to people here in this society.
Okay, but Gavin, up until this stage, the EU had said on numerous occasions that if Northern Ireland needs access to particular medicines, it will allow that to happen. And then we have this story from the 12th of April this year. It says, EU allows British medicines to go to Northern Ireland. The EU has adopted rules allowing medicines made in Britain to go to Northern Ireland, creating an exception in a post-Brexit trade agreement, a post-Brexit treaty that requires goods sent to Northern Ireland to be EU compliant. Okay. The move is an effort to dampen tensions between Brussels and London over Northern Ireland, which remains under the EU customs system under the terms of the Northern Ireland Protocol. Look, this was not really an issue, but the EU responded by saying, okay, we'll create an exception for medicines to make sure that people in Northern Ireland have access to the medicines that they need. Okay. So this is not an issue. But what we're really talking about here is the cost of living crisis and how the DUP are blocking £330 million that could be used to help people deal with this crisis. And today we have this news. It says here, energy prices power Northern Ireland to increase energy costs by 27.5%. Northern Ireland's largest energy supplier, Power NI, has announced it will increase prices for domestic customers by 27.5% from the 1st of July 2022. It means the average household bill will go up by £204 a year. The utility regulator has approved the tariff. So the people of Northern Ireland are facing a 27.5% increase in electricity prices. And the DUP are banging on about the protocol constantly. There's £330 million sitting on the table that could be used to help people deal with this crisis. And what are the DUP doing? Banging on about the protocol. Talking about issues that have been resolved, pretending it seems that they haven't been resolved. Talking about constitutional issues when people are worried about heating their homes, feeding their families, paying their bills. Once again, the DUP are completely disconnected and focused wrongly on the protocol and not the cost of living crisis. Look, if you want to sort out the protocol, leave it in Boris Johnson's hands, leave it in the hands of the EU. You can't fix it. The Northern Ireland executive cannot undo the protocol. Do the job that you're paid to do. And just on the issue of pay, the members of the Northern Ireland Assembly are paid £51,000 a year. And they're still getting paid, even though they're not working. So the DUP have blocked the Assembly from doing its job, which is supposed to, in this moment, deal with the cost of living crisis. And they're still getting paid £51,000 a year. Shameful. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.